I'm Pragati. In this video, I'm going to share my journey as an international student having studied and worked in Sydney for about 5 years. I'd like to share the highs, the lows, the challenges, and everything in between for all the students aspiring to study abroad. So, to begin with, I completed a 2 years full time master's degree in human resource management from the University of Technology, Sydney in 2021. Now, going back in time after my bachelor's degree in psychology from Symbiosis Pune, I just knew I wanted to pursue my master's abroad, and something about Sydney just attracted me to the city. So I was sure about where I wanted to go, but I was quite unsure about the right course, the right campus, and basically the right fit for me. Luckily, Dr. Amrita Das, founder of Institute for Career Studies, Lucknow, and also my forever mentor, guided me through the process. And we had a few counseling sessions, took an aptitude test, personality test, and through those, ma'am thoroughly evaluated my area of interest and aptitude. And after some additional research, we were finally able to decide the right course for me. When I was shortlisting universities, rankings were a big factor for me. UTS stood out for its strong position in the Young University Index, meaning it was modern in its approach, offering an extensive and flexible cost structure, and was also situated right in the heart of Sydney, so that helped me finalize my choice with confidence. Now, coming to the application process, definitely a bit stressful between SOPs, LORs, and all the paperwork. It felt like a lot, but I worked with an agent who made things smoother, and that really helped reduce a lot of pressure. Once I reached there and the classes began, I noticed a huge difference between the teaching style compared to India. It was much more collaborative, practical, and discussion driven. And we mostly worked in groups, shared experiences, and were constantly pushed to think critically. There were hardly any written exams. Most of the assessments were projects, case studies, and presentations. Well, it took me a whole semester to adjust, but once I got into the flow, I started to enjoy it a lot more. And honestly, the support from the faculty and the classmates made a huge difference. Moving on to a very important topic, finances. Well, the total cost of studying came to around 60 lakhs. Tuition fee was 40 lakhs, and then living expenses added another 10 lakhs a year. Since I didn't have a scholarship, I took up various part time jobs to support myself, but that came with its own challenges. A lot of employers saw me as overqualified for basic roles, so I had to tweak my resume and strategically approach the employers. It did take me some time and a few good referrals, but eventually I found my footing. I'll also admit that, like many students, I was tempted by quick money making scams in the beginning, and I nearly got caught up in a couple, but backed out as soon as I sensed something fishy. So, do trust your instincts. So, that was a real eye opener, and I learned to be extremely cautious moving forward. Now, when it came to life in Sydney, it's beautiful, it's a multicultural city. There wasn't a cultural shock as such, but I just obviously had to adjust to little things like how public transport works, understanding Aussie accent, and figuring out how to do everything on my own. Also, most shops and malls shut down by 5 p.m. every day, so that was a shock compared to India, where shops remain open till late evening. Weekends are a big deal. People really look forward to living their best lives over the weekend. One of the highlights early on was meeting the Aboriginal artists during orientation and experiencing their culture. I think that was truly special. Local traditions and experiences would include barbecue dinner parties, taking the ferry as the mode of transportation, and seeing the fireworks over the Opera House for every New Year's Eve, and also visiting the beach as often as possible. Just when I was starting to settle in, everything shifted online as COVID hit, and it was right after my first semester. So I only got to experience campus life in person for a few months, and then after that, everything felt so distant. It made it really hard to meet new people and make friends, so that part was tough. and also staying motivated during that time. It was not easy. There were days that I just sat in front of my laptop wondering if it was all worth it. But I reminded myself why I went there in the first place. So I set small goals, stayed in touch with classmates virtually, and kept pushing forward. That phase taught me more about resilience than I could have ever imagined. Well, and also homesickness also hit hard at times. So regular calls with my family and friends back at home really kept me grounded. I've lived off campus in shared apartments and also university accommodations. There were plenty of decent options, but my biggest advice would be live closer to campus or near commercial hubs. It makes your daily life and part time work way easier, and also, university accommodations are a much better choice for new students as you get to interact with a lot more other students. Now, managing my day to day was all about trial and error. I cooked most of my meals, which saved a lot of money, and I used Sydney's public transport, which is honestly excellent. If there's one small tip I swear by, it's to cook your own food. It's effort, yes, but it really helps your budget. And on the career side of things, I did explore a few internships and part time roles. Even if they weren't directly in HR, which was my field, they helped me build local experience and confidence, and I gained a lot of transferable skills. Um, my university UTS had a solid career services. They offered resume help, interview prep, and also hosted career fairs and networking events. I honestly learned a lot just by attending those and speaking with professionals from my field. Job market there in HR is decent but competitive. Local experience matters a lot, but so does understanding Australian workplace laws. So my advice is start early, take internships, build your network, and try to connect with people even before you land. Now looking back, there are a few things that I really wish I knew before I left India. One big one would be to choose a course that aligns with your long term immigration goals. It's always good to have an option open for the future. Well, if that's what you want. And at that time, I went with what interested me, and that's important. But I didn't think about whether my course was on the skilled occupation list, and that can make a big difference when it comes to permanent residency. The Australian immigration website clearly lists which fields offer more PR points, and it's definitely worth checking before you finalize your course. Now, let's talk about some myths and misconceptions people have about studying in Australia. So, well, no, life abroad is not glamorous. Behind the Instagram posts, there's a lot of hard work, adjustment, and uncertainty. You have to hustle, be smart about your choices, and also be patient. One big misconception is that getting a job abroad is easy. Well, the reality is that it takes time. You need local experience, social networking, and sometimes even luck. So be prepared to start small and build up. Now, there's also the stereotype about racism in Australia. Well, I believe that, like any country, isolated incidents happen, but Australia is incredibly multicultural, especially cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. You'll meet people from every part of the world. For the most part, it's a welcoming and respectful environment. If there's one practical tip I'd give to students currently applying abroad, it would be start networking early, join LinkedIn groups, connect with alumni, attend virtual events. Trust me, it will make a world of difference when it comes to building connections and finding opportunities. I'd also like to add that, as a new student, try to embrace the cultures around you, avoid groupism, and being just surrounded by your own kind. Try to interact with as many people as you can. You'll meet people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, values, and perspectives. And don't be quick to judge or hold on to your own stereotypes. Keep an open mind. You'll be surprised at how much you learn, not just about others, but about yourself too. Now, before I end, Here's one last thing I want to say. My time in Sydney wasn't everything I'd hoped for in terms of campus experience, which was hampered due to COVID, but that's out of everyone's way now. There were challenges I never saw coming, so just be prepared at all times. But at the same time, I grew more in those 2 years than I ever thought possible. And despite everything, I wouldn't trade this experience for anything else in the world. That's about it from me. Thank you so much for listening, and all the best for your journey.